Welcome back, y'all, to the channel. I'm your host, Bionic Handman, or as you've previously known me, Fishing with Nubs, or Navajo TV. I'm still going back and forth on the channel name. I'll figure it out. I kind of like the Bionic Handman. And for those of you that are wondering why I'm called Bionic Handman, well, I just finally got my prosthetic. For those of you that have been following, you know that I am missing my hand. There's my fishing gear, and then my kayak behind me. But as y'all know, I'm missing my left hand, and we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the accident, actually, December 22nd. So, but besides that, but nonetheless, I finally got my prosthetic. So here we're going to talk about how I put it on, what it can do, what it can't do, things that it allows me to be able to do again, things that I still have trouble with because, as y'all know, it is nothing like a real hand. I know this. I wasn't expecting it to be, an actual replacement for my, physical hand. So with that being said, let me get the camera all set up so I can show y'all everything, and we'll get right into it. And here it is. Don't mind the mess, guys. It is my workbench, so it tends to be dirty. Nonetheless, this is my hand. For those of you that don't know what this prosthetic is, this is the Taska Global hand, multi-articulating hand. Let's see, it's got the little T right there for Taska. So to tell you a little bit about this hand, it is waterproof. It is the only waterproof multi-articulating hand on the market as of today. Now, by waterproof, I mean that from the hand to right about where the wrist is, right where the gap is there, it's waterproof. Anything further back, for the most part, isn't. Some of the stuff inside, internally, is waterproof, but not the whole prosthetic itself. So I cannot submerge it. I think the only thing I really do have to worry about actually is the electronic rotating wrist that's right inside here where the if you can see where my finger's pointing at on the camera to the wristband for my watch. So right about under there is where the rotating wrist is at. And I'll show you all that when I get it installed, or get it on my arm. So I got my power button here, so it turns the prosthetic on and off. And then the charging port as well is just like a little magnetic charging port. I got a little hole here that runs through the socket, which is what, let's see if I can move it here. So there's two parts to the forearm. So there's this piece here that doesn't look like carbon fiber. That is called the socket, and what that is a molded form of plastic that is, that is where my limb sticks in. And then the rest of it is carbon fiber. So it is pretty durable. It's pretty light. The hand itself, though, is actually pretty heavy. So anyway, the reason for this hole is for what prosthetists call a domer, either a domer or domer or domer sleeve. And what that is a sleeve that helps me slide my arm in and sucks all the air out of the socket so that my arm stays in the socket nice and tight. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and set the camera up. I'm going to show you just how I put this thing on, and then I'll show you all the functions and everything that goes with it. Alright? So I got the camera set up. I'm going to show you just how I put this thing on, and then we'll get into all the grip patterns it has, and then I'll try to show you what it can do with some of the stuff that I have around the garage, which should be pretty easy because there's a lot of stuff in here. and then I'll show you kind of what it can and cannot do, and what I can't do, not because the arm, the hand and the forearm can't do it, but because there are still limitations on my limb itself that prevent me from doing certain things because it's still tender in certain areas because of the force that's being pressed onto it. So let me go ahead and show you how I first get this started. Typically what I do is, one of the cool things is you can take this the hand off. So I like to joke around with this, you know, because it can come off. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a video of me driving, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So now I just got the forearm. Go ahead and set it here. I get this towel, set it down so it's got a nice soft surface to push down onto, and it's not just going straight into the wood. And the reason for that is, I'll see if I can show you here. Right here on the wrist. Wait, nope. All right. So if you look, that pin right there that goes in between the wrist there sticks out just so far, and I don't want to damage that by pressing it straight into the wood. So what I do, take the Domer sleeve. I just call it an arm sleeve. So whatever. Screw the actual pronunciation. But I go ahead, I slide this sucker on here, and then there's a little weight tied to the end of it. Nothing crazy, just something for the string to be weighted down to. So then I take this, slide it in the hole. It comes out that hole right there on the forearm. And what I do, take my rag, I move it over, set my arm down, and I pull the sleeve through. And I just pull and pull till it gets right about there. And then I make any final adjustments, and then I push my arm into the socket while I'm pulling the sleeve out. And there we go. It's a nice tight fit. It's not coming off. And then typically what I do, I had to make a little plug. I actually got to go see my prosthetist about getting one actually made. This will do for now. It's basically just a little rubber plug that I wrapped some duct tape around because it wasn't big enough for the hole. So I took some duct tape, wrapped it around the plug, and then put a rubber glove thumb over it for a tight seal. And then I just, yeah. So, a little unorthodox, whatever. I'm going to get it fixed. So, no big issues there. And then, I put my accessories on. I got my watch and whatever. So, don't have to put those on right now to show you. Alright, I don't know what just happened. I had a technical difficulty with the hand. So I'm just going to start the video from here. So anyway, as y'all just saw, I pull, and then I take this plug here that I made, and I shove it on in there. And that helps keep it airtight. Then I just take my hand, give it a good little twist, turn it on, and there we go. I close it, and I open it. So, to talk about what is actually happening when I open and close this. So, if you can see right here where this little hole's at, there's an electrode in here. I call it an electrode. It's like a sensor. We're going to call it a sensor. Much easier because some people don't know what a damn electrode is. So, it's a sensor. And then on the back side here, there's another one. So, what those sensors are picking up is the movement of the forearm. So if you see here, when I flex my forearm up, that muscle contracts. When I flex down, this muscle contracts. So when I open, so when I flex up, that opens the hand. When I flex down, closes the hand. Alright? Now to switch between the wrist and the grips, I think of making a fist and I flex. And what that does is it contracts both the top and bottom of my forearm. Nope. Okay, well that is a co-contraction grip, but that's not supposed to happen yet. So let me fix this. There we go. So I'll get into what that just was in a second, but the switch between the wrist and the grips, you hear that beep, and now this turns to the left, that turns to the right. And yes, it is kind of creepy to some people because I can turn my wrist 360. So, and then to switch back, same thing. Now, from Taska, there's 3 buttons. There's one that looks like a hand. Let's see if I can bring this closer to y'all. Oop, hold on. There we go. So you've got the hand, what looks like a heartbeat, and then you got the home button. Now I know they're upside down to y'all. That's because the hand is in that direction. If I were to turn it towards me, they're up like that. So there you go. There's the hand, heartbeat, and home button. Now what those do is the hand switches between 5 grips. The heartbeat turns off what they call EMG triggers. So I can change between 5 different grips using my muscle contractions. And then the home button has 2 preset unchangeable grips called the general grasp, which is what the hand is in right now, and the flexi tool handshake grip, which I can switch using the EMG triggers. So, and they're both different. So this one looks like this. And then the general grasp puts the thumb down. So, set the camera back up here. There we go. So, to show you that the home button does it, so you got general grasp is already on. Hit it. Nope. Hold on. I think I turned something off. Nope. Okay. Alright, so you got general grasp, and then you got a multi-tool grip. So the other cool thing is there's an app on my phone, and there's a soft program that I can have on my computer to help me change certain settings or make my own grips. So that grip that you saw where I was like this, I was already custom grip that was saved into the Taska app. So when you download the Taska app, that's already there from Taska, along with 4 other ones. Now when you get on the computer, you can actually change all 5 of those to do whatever you want. For people probably wondering, which there's bound to be at least one person that's going to, yes, it can do the 1-finger salute. I'm not going to show you. As funny as it is to me just to do it, I have a video I'll probably post on Instagram later, just to be funny about it. You can watch it there. I won't do it here, just because that's not really what this is about. So the grips that I have programmed into the hand here are the key grip. So I can hold a credit card, a key, any like a plate. If I have to hold a plate, just to, let's see, say this is the plate. I know it's a square, so I can hold the square there, and then if I have to rotate it, I can do all this fancy weird stuff with it. All right. So then the next one I have is what they call the tablet hook grip. Now, what this is good for, say if I'm holding here. that doesn't come off. Okay. Say this is like a tablet, all right? And I go to hold something like a tablet or a book. So now I'm holding it. Like if I'm walking straight and I have it just hanging down by my side, I can hold a tablet. I use that grip for other things than just holding a book or a tablet, because I don't typically carry a tablet or a book with me. So I use it for other things. The next grip is the tripod grip, which you take the two fingers and you grab shit. Now, I personally would like it if it folded these two fingers in, so I might actually make a custom grip doing the exact same thing, but with these two, the pinky and ring finger folded in. So to demonstrate what this does, you got my watch and my wristband here. Let's move the camera down just a little bit so y'all can see it. So, still got the wrist on. So, switch back to the hand, and I can pick up my watch, pick up my wristband, come over here, pick up the speed square, turn it around. Oop. I'm still getting used to it. There you go. So I can pick stuff up like that. The other grip, I have the pointer grip. Now I use this for typing on a keyboard. I know it's not the same as actually typing on a keyboard, but it works. It's better than having to let go of my mouse. I do AutoCAD work, so the less I have to take my hand off the mouse to type something, the faster I can be. So that helps out a lot. They have a keyboard grip, but I like this one better just because it takes the other fingers out of the way and it's just that much easier. The next one is the pincer grip. Now, I actually think I need to get this fixed and send it off, which isn't Taska's fault. I think I might have done something, so I don't know, but it's not lining up with the thumb like it's supposed to. So, as you can see, it is not lined up. It's supposed to be almost dead center with it. So, and if it gets slippery, then it just completely misses, which, you know, if you're picking up certain things can be bad, but, you know, so pick stuff up and do stuff with it. You know, come over here, pick up my rag, and do whatever with it. Here, I will do my best to show you here the lock washer, and here's an eyelet screw. So let's see. I can get it. Okay. Well, still got to work on that, but this I should be able to get. So, aha! I got it. All right, and I dropped it. So, and those are the grips that I have programmed to the hand button. Now, what the heartbeat button does, it turns off the EMG triggers. So since we're now talking about the EMG triggers, I will tell you what that means. So EMG, for, I guess, smart people, smarter than me, it's what that looks like. It looks like a heartbeat monitor. So it works off the sensors in my arm, particularly the top one. So in the app and on the program on the computer, there are 5 EMG triggers, 2 of which a lot of prosthetic or amputees have trouble with. From what I've heard, not a lot of them can actually do the last 2, and most of the time they don't even mess with it. So, but nonetheless, the 5 EMG triggers are a long or a hold, which I would just flex my arm up and hold for a couple seconds, and it would switch a grip. Then there's long hold, which I just do the same thing, just a little bit longer. It'll switch to the second grip. Then there's the double pulse, which I just call double, and basically it's 1, 2, and it switches to a third grip. Then they have co-contraction. Now, if you saw when I was trying to switch to the wrist that it went like this, that's one of the grips for the co-contraction that I have set up just to practice with, so that I know that it's switching, but it's not something silly or stupid that's going to mess me up when I'm trying to do something. And then they have the co-contraction that's long hold. So, again, to explain what a co-contraction is, it's the upper muscle and the lower muscle being contracted at the same time. So, like making a fist and flexing. And that's what I use to rotate the wrist, or to switch between the grip patterns, or like, opening and closing my hand. Go, 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 to the wrist. So to show you the EMG trigger grips that I have programmed, these are the ones that I use the most every single day, or if I'm just doing something. So if I hold open, switches to the general grasp, which I know can be done by the home button, but if I'm doing something, I have my hand full, and I need to switch, it's nice to be able to just switch to that grip and not have to press a button. Same thing, I hold, it beeps once, beeps again for the second grip, and now I'm in the flexi handshake tool grip. Again, same grip that the home button has, but again, I don't have to press the button just to do it. I can just hold and go to it. For the double press, or the double pulse, I have pointer. Now, the reason why I have pointer is, like I said, I work with a computer all day. So if I switch between the hand grips to hold something, I don't want to have to let go or do whatever. I can just hold, double pulse, and go to the finger, or the pointer grip, and start. Sorry, there's mosquitoes here in Texas, even in the cold. Switch to that grip and then start, typing away at the keyboard. Another cool feature with this hand, let me switch the grips here, is the fact that it has an articulating wrist. Is that the right word? I don't know. It flexes. It has a flexi wrist, we'll say that. So, as you can see here, they've got this switch. I don't know if you can see it there. Anyway, so there's a button here and a button here. There you go, you can see it. Alright, so if I press this button, if the hand is facing towards me, if I press it, that switch, towards me, I can then flex the wrist up, and I can flex the wrist down. So that gives me that articulation of the wrist, and then I can lock it in place. So now the hand is going up for a certain angle, and then it goes back flat, and then I can lock it in place going down for, again, better angle for holding certain things. So, like if I wanted to drink a beer, I'm still working on that. So, there's a lot of things that I still can do, even without the prosthetic. There's a lot that I can do that a lot of people with two hands still can't do. So, I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but I'm just saying, like, there's still a lot of things that I can do one-handed that, yeah, they're harder, but not to the point to where I can't go on with life. I live life, I laugh, I still do everything that I love to do, like, my kayak back there, and my fishing rods right here. I haven't gone fishing with it yet. I haven't got on the kayak with it yet either. But I still do a lot of things around the house, and having this makes it that much easier. Even if it's just to hold something, like, if I'm doing something with my hand and I'm like, all right, I gotta hold this hammer, I can hold the hammer, So get a little bit of better grip on that. So, I can hold the hammer. I couldn't do that before. Before, I'd have to stick it under my arm, things like that. I'd have to find other ways to do things, which isn't an issue. You learn to adapt, and that's what I've done. So now I actually have to learn to adapt to having this, because I'd gotten so used to not having anything there that I got used to using what was there. And I partially blame that on insurance because they took forever. I think I started my application back in May, and I just got my prosthetic. It was November 20th was the day I picked it up, and I took it home. So, nonetheless, I'm super happy with it. Like I said, there's a lot that I can do with it. There's a lot that I can't do with it because it's just not the same as having an actual hand, and I understand that. And as cruddy as that sounds, as shitty as that sounds, it's not that shitty. I mean, honestly, like I said, there's so much that I can do without it that I don't always need this, and sometimes it actually gets in the way just because I'm so used to not having my arm in the way anymore that sometimes it gets in the way. I know it's a silly thing to say. Some people are like, oh, you ought to be happy you have one. Some of us can't get one. Trust me, I am more than happy that I have it. Anyway, let's get into what it can do, what it can't do, by showing you some stuff around the garage. Jesus. Okay. So I can hold my fishing rods again. So I just switch back to the general grasp grip, turn my hand, lock it back in place, and then bam. Just like that. And I can hold my fishing rod. So let me come over here, turn this like that. So I can hold my fishing rod, turn the drag down so I can show this. So sit here, bop, bop, bop. Do some fishing with it, So that's a bait caster. Then I can come over here and I can hold my spinning combos as well. Come over here and do all that nonsense. So I might turn the grip so that it holds it more straight, but nonetheless, sit there. I can do everything. Now, I don't know, because I haven't been fishing yet with the hand. I have no idea how it's going to hold up to an actual fish when it gets on the other end of it. I do bass fishing, I do catfishing, and I do saltwater fishing for reds and trout. Bass, I don't see it being too big of an issue. Catfish, and then reds, I don't see it happening at all. I guess I didn't really tell y'all what this can and cannot do. Because of the limitations of the articulation of certain things, like these panels that you see on the back wall, I actually tried using my hand that day to finish the rest of this, which I still have a lot to finish back here, y'all can see. I tried using it to hold the boards up, and I just could not get a grip that would work properly. So I ended up taking it off and just putting the board in between my elbow and doing it that way, like I had done the rest of the garage. I mean, certain things it can hold, but it can't hold it like an actual hand. So, like I said, it is what it is. It's nice to just be able to hold things in general. So, like a fishing hook, I can hold a hook and tie it again. So if I'm like out in the field fishing and my hook breaks off, I can retie while I'm out there again. That's something I couldn't do before when I was fishing, I couldn't retie if I broke off. If I broke off, that was it. So that was really annoying. My fishing trip would be over. If it happened right away, and I typically take 2 rods, one that I use for Texas rig and one that I use for all my other lures. And if both of those break, because I used quick connects to change because I couldn't tie, typically so for Texas rigs, if you've watched my other video, the bait and the hook video, you saw that I pre-hooked or pre-baited all of my EWG hooks. And that's because I can't hold the hook that's already tied to the line and change out the soft plastic. It just was not possible. There was no way for me to hold the hook and put on the soft plastic worm or frog or fluke, whatever I would be using, in order to change my presentation. So I had quick connects at the end of my line, and all my EWG hooks were pre-baited. But now I don't have to do that. I can actually hold the hook and bait the hook. That'll be a different video on how I do that. Maybe it'll be part of a fishing video. I won't actually make a whole video of me just putting a worm on a hook. And the same thing goes for tying a hook back on. Typically when you're changing out hard plastic lures, you don't have a quick connect because it can alter the actual action of said lure. And some of my lures I actually can't even use because the action doesn't work right, and it'll just twirl, or it just won't move at all because that quick connect is changing how it actually moves underwater. So that was upsetting. I couldn't use all my lures, but now that's not the case anymore because I can hold the lure, tie it up, do whatever, and be on my merry way. So again, that's one of the great things. I'm just glad to be able to hold something again. I call this guy Mr. Roboto. And then take this off and put on the other device. That's the other cool thing. So if my hand, this hand isn't the smallest thing. I mean, it's kind of bigger than my actual hand, if you can see. I mean, this thing is massive compared to my hand. There we go. So I don't know, maybe it's the same. It is bigger. It is pretty big compared to my actual hand. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's not the easiest to put long sleeves on with this thing in the way. Oh, okay, no big deal. Pop the fucker off and slide into my long sleeve shirt or jacket, whatever. Pull the sleeve up, pop my hand back on. So that's a cool feature. And that's why when you see me, I put it on. I gotta twist it a couple times, and that's make sure that it's it's on. And if I'm using the rotating wrist, it won't come off. It's not designed to do that. But if I turn, it comes off. That's why I gotta be careful when I'm turning it manually, because I could potentially twist it off. Kind of like what happened in my video on Instagram. If you follow me, my name is the Bionic Handman, same as my YouTube channel name. But I'm just really happy to have this. It's great. I love it. I've still got to get used to it. I've only had this thing for less than a month, maybe half a month. So I still literally have the rest of my life to get used to this and find different ways to do the things that I used to do now that I have it. So anyone that's here in Texas, or Houston to be more precise, because Texas is pretty big, and you know how everything here in Texas is bigger. Go check out Ted Meilenberg That's the gentleman that actually built this for me and helped me get this prosthetic. So if you have family or friends that are an amputee or grew up this way, as some people do, go ahead and check out Ted Meilenberg. He really great guy, really nice, listens to everything that you have to say, and he's more than happy to help you do what you need to do in order to get this thing the way you want it. And he's just a really great guy. But other than that, guys, if you have any requests to see what this thing can or can't do, or like, hey, let me see you do this, or blah blah blah, shoot me a shout. A shout out in the comment down below, and maybe I'll make a video about it. And I'll post it to my Instagram channel, and you can watch it there. But yeah, just wanted to tell you about my Taska hand and just about everything that it can do. So, till next time, guys.